Battery fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to WWE Aftershock, week 24. I don't sound thrilled because I'm doing this at 12:39. It's probably going to be 1:30 when I finish this. So it could be worse, I guess. Could have finished, but I just literally recorded AEW Spoke like not even a minute ago. I just got done recorded it, and I tried to do this earlier twice, but YouTube Studio, my Wi-Fi decided to be a dick. So that's why I'm doing this now. So you're not going to get the most in-depth reviews on these shows. I liked all these shows, but, it's just what happens, But, yeah, I'm on the Birdman Finch. I'm flying solo this week. I'm probably going to be flying solo, at least until Money in the Bank, because this is a busy time for Chris. He's got to get ready for his parties, and work just gets busy around this time. So either I'm going to get another co-host, and I have one in mind. I think I might get Zero, but that might be a stretch. But we'll see. Or I'll just do it solo, but we'll see. And I'm going to be nervous because, we're doing it the old way, but, because I've had issues with my mics and stuff. Well, not this mic, but because YouTube Studio was a bitch, I want to be nervous. But yeah, I'm just going to go through these shows fairly quickly. I want to get this done in like an hour. So I'm making a call now. We're not doing predictions for this week because there's no point. What's ever going to happen is going to happen. And I didn't really read the news stories this week. I've been forgetting to recently. I just find myself enjoying wrestling better when I don't read the news sites. So that's why I don't read the news sites anymore. I just will look at it. And sometimes I'll see the news sites and I'm like, I don't really feel like reading that. That doesn't appeal to me. I've long since stopped reading news sites. I think it's best for everybody. But yeah, we're gonna follow house rules, and I'm gonna cover main event first since that's the dark matches before Raw. Main event though aired on June 14th, 2023. Byron Saxton and Kevin Patrick were on commentary for it. They did very well on commentary, I thought. I like them together on commentary. It gets Byron Saxton out there, so there you go. We had Natalya versus Tegan Nox as the first match on the show. Kind of strange that Natalya was just thrown on main event here, and then they set up a storyline with her on Raw. But again, house rules. This was happened before any of that happened, so whatever. Decent match here. Natalya won with the sharpshooter. Tegan Nox just tapped out immediately. She didn't even try to grab the ropes or anything like that. So I don't know what's going on with Tegan Nox. They turn her heel randomly for no reason, and she's still losing. It's like, why did they even bring her back? It doesn't make sense. They should have had her turn heel and join Damage Control. I think that would have been cool, but it didn't happen that way. But whatever. Then the main event of the show was Apollo Crews versus Riddick Moss with Emma inside. Apollo Crews won with a pop-up Samoan drop. Riddick Moss looked pretty good in this match, and this match was fairly good. I do hope they find something for Apollo Crews and they didn't just call him up just to have him be stuck on main event forever. I really hope that that's not what happened here, but we'll see. Main event was all right. I'll give that like a C. I thought it was a fairly solid show, so there you go. Going through Raw now. That aired on June 10th, 2023. Well, June 11th, actually. I think it would have been June 11th if main event. No, it aired on June 12th, 2023. So I don't know what I was thinking. Again, it's late at night. The commentary team with Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves, I thought they did pretty decent on commentary. Rhea Ripley got presented with the new WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship. I'm glad they fixed the issue now with the titles now. Now the SmackDown one's not on Raw anymore, and the Raw one's not on SmackDown. They've fixed those issues now, which is good. They should have done this from the jump, but it is what it is. Obviously, because they had to have Bianca lose her belt first, but whatever. I think the lineage is the same though. It's still the SmackDown Women's title, like lineage, but it's just a new. It's just the name of a new title. Dominic Mysterio comes out and he basically puts all of them over, talks about how behind every great woman's a great man and all that type of stuff. And Cody Rhodes comes out and he challenges him to a match of Money in the Bank. Dominic Mysterio is dancing around his questions, really not giving him much of an answer. And eventually Rio accepts for him. The Miz attacks Cody from behind. And eventually when the Cody fights off the Miz, Dominic Mysterio does a cheap shot from behind and takes off. It led to Cody versus the Miz. That match was good. I think the Miz has been putting on some bangers as of late, and Cody won with the Crossroads, which obviously makes sense considering the fact that this is Cody's first match back and everything like that since losing to Brock Lesnar. He needed to get a win here, and the Miz is at the point now in his career where he doesn't really hurt by taking a loss. So there you go. I do like the fact they put Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio in a program together just because Cody, I would say, is probably the number one babyface on Raw. I would say it's either Cody or Seth. I would say Cody just because he's more likable and everything like that. But it's definitely like 1A, 1B type of thing. And Dom's probably the number one heel on Raw at the moment, which is really weird to say, but it's true. Later in the night, Cody cut an interview where he talked about like some more stuff about Brock Lesnar and said that he's going to put Dominic Mysterio in his place. I thought that interview was pretty good. Cody does pretty good at that. Then we had Becky Lynch versus Chelsea Green with Sonya Deville inside. Before the match, Becky Lynch cut a promo talking about how she wants to be the Miss Money in the Bank because the champion would become a target and she could pick her time when she wants to cash it in. Zoe Stark interrupts it. She goes off on Becky Lynch. Says all the typical things that every heel says to Becky Lynch about why she's famous and everything like that. And then Becky challenged Zoe to get down to the ring and fight her, but Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville came out. Chelsea Green talked about how the only reason she didn't put her hands on Becky Lynch last week was because she didn't want to get Sonya disqualified and take away her Money in the Bank opportunity. So it led to the match. And Becky Lynch won. I forget if she won with the disarmor or the manhandle slam, but all you need to know is Becky Lynch won. And then they did a lot of things with Judgment Day on this show. They had a backstage segment where everyone was kind of happy, but Finn Balor was in a bad mood, and he said he would address that later in the show. And Damian Priest asked the rest of the members of Judgment Day to not come there ringside for his Money in the Bank qualifying match. He wanted to do it on his own. So we'll talk about that now. And Damian Priest beat Matt Riddle to qualify for the briefcase Money in the Bank ladder match. And I thought that match was very good. He won with the Son of Heaven or whatever that's called, the sit-out choke slam. And afterwards, Matt Riddle was attacked by Imperium minus Fabian Eichner because he's either selling or legitimately has a knee injury. And later in the show, Finn Balor came out to do his promo talking about Seth Rollins. He said that he had like 6 years worth of stuff he wanted to get off his chest. So when Seth came out, the crowd basically hijacked the segment and pretty much took it over, and Finn couldn't even get a word out, but I liked it. They were basically singing Seth Rollins' theme song, and Finn Balor then talked about how Seth Rollins took everything from him when he injured his shoulder, and he said he wants to do the same thing to Seth Rollins that he did to him. How he was at his hardest period, and he wants to take everything from him. And Seth said that this is the Finn Balor that he wants to see, a Finn Balor with a chip on his shoulder, and basically the match gets made official for Money in the Bank. I'm looking forward to that match, and I think that match is going to be fire. But I really liked the segment with Seth and Finn, and I liked the Money in the Bank qualifying match. And then later in the night, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Finn Balor was shown talking to JD McDonough, which I liked. It shows that he's going to be joining Judgment Day soon. And Damian Priest tells Finn Balor to win the title and don't make everything that Seth's doing all for nothing, and type of thing. And Finn's worried that he's basically paranoid that Damian Priest would cash in the Money in the Bank contract on him. So I do like the slow burn they're going with breaking up Judgment Day, I guess. I don't think they're breaking him up, but I don't think Damian Priest really needs to leave Judgment Day, but I get why they're doing it. So I like that it's at least a slow burn, and it wasn't like they were pissed at each other this week or anything like that. It showed a video package for the Special Olympics. Natty gets interviewed. She talks about how she needs to make a change in her career, so I'm interested to see what that is. I do hope it's not just Natty turning heel, because I don't really think that's going to help Natty anymore. I think they need to do something like have a retirement tour or something, or maybe I don't know, but I just can't be her turning heel. And then Byron Saxton goes over and interviews Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and Imperium come up and interrupt them. And basically, this leads to Kevin Owens becoming a hothead and basically putting the tag titles on the line against Imperium. And Adam Pearce has to make the match official. He's got to make all these calls and things like that because Vince is doing his corrections. That's obviously a joke. I'm just too tired to laugh at it. And it gets made official. And we had the tag title match. It was absolutely a banger. I loved it. It was Walter and Marcel Bartel versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Eventually, Matt Riddle interfered, which caused basically Imperium to lose. And Sami Zayn and KO retained their tag titles. This was in the main event of Raw, if I didn't say that. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that. I like the fact that Sami and KO are getting main event because they're stars and they deserve that. And I like how they're setting up Walter versus Matt Riddle for the IC title. I imagine that's going to take place at Money in the Bank. And I think they may put on like one of the best matches all year. And that's saying a lot. They did a backstage segment with Indus Sher where they basically challenged Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin to come face them again on Raw so they can beat them proper. So there's that. More shoving down Indus Sher down their throats and Bailey and Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. They did a bad match with Raquel Rodriguez and Shayna Baszler. It wasn't good. Shayna won with Wanda's help, so I don't want to talk anymore about that. Ricochet faced Bronson Reed. They had a really good match. Shinsuke Nakamura came out to watch the match, and it led to Bronson Reed throwing Ricochet into Bronson Reed threw Ricochet into Shinsuke Nakamura, and Shinsuke attacked Bronson Reed in retaliation, which caused Bronson to win by DQ. And Ricochet was upset about this, but Ricochet and Shinsuke Nakamura worked together long enough to take out Bronson Reed. And Ricochet went backstage and asked Adam Pearce to make a rematch, but Adam Pearce said that he already had a match with Shinsuke Nakamura. So Bronson Reed did anyways. And Ricochet basically told Shinsuke Nakamura to stay out of his business. And there's that. I don't like that they did the DQ because it's basically rinse and repeat booking, but I do like what they're kind of doing here. I kind of hope Bronson Reed ends up in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but we'll see if that happens. So there you go. Chad Gable had Otis and Maxine Dupree inside, and he faced Eric, who had Ivo and Valhalla inside. They've been showing things on Instagram and things like that where Chad Gable was traded. Maxine Dupree had to do an arm drag, but she couldn't quite master it. And eventually, when Valhalla tries to attack her, she's able to do the arm drag. And Chad Gable ended up beating Eric with a victory roll. Maxine Dupree was wearing a singlet that she designed herself. You can go listen to the After Bell podcast for that with Corey Graves because she talked about it there. Since you're going to be seeing this Monday, it should be on WWE's YouTube channel. Just go watch it. We'll listen to it since it's a podcast. But I like this. I do like, obviously the pairing of Alpha Academy and Maxine Dupree. I'm glad they decided to put them all together instead of doing the typical thing. So that's good. And then Rhea Ripley had a video package just showing her dominance, and Seth Rollins did an interview announcing that he's going to have an open challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship next week. So there's that. And yeah, the only thing that was weird about Raw is they didn't mention that, like, no one, especially since Seth gets interviewed, he didn't even mention the fact that Braun Breaker called him out on NXT for a world title match. I get they wanted to say that for NXT, but it just really didn't make any sense that Seth wouldn't bring it up on Raw. Like, he said that he'll respond on NXT or something. Like, I wish they would have mentioned it. That way, like, people would have tuned in NXT. It was just strange. But that was Raw. I thought Raw was a really good show. I give Raw a B. I think what hurt my enjoyment of it was I had trouble actually watching the show. because Xfinity Stream decided to be stupid and basically cut out the audio for channel 32, which is where the Channel USA Network here is, where I am. And it worked on it. The audio was fine on every channel, of course, except for USA. But you know, technology, it doesn't like me very much. That's why I'm doing this now. So I had to basically struggle to watch Raw. I had to watch on USA Network on my phone, and I had to get it on my TV. It was just a big process. And I also was tired from work, so that hurt my enjoyment of the show. And there was obviously some other segments. I don't want to just say it was just what was going on in my life. I'm not going to take it out on this show. But, you know, there was just some other things I didn't care for that I talked about that I'm not going to repeat. But it was still enjoyable nonetheless. The biggest thing I liked, and I'm upping it to like a higher B, is WWE actually stuck to the brand split this week. Thank God. So I'm happy about that. 1 week they stuck to it. It would have been nice if they would have been doing it already, but you know. I'll do quick predictions for Raw since I'm on the subject. Logan Paul's going to be there. I imagine he's going to announce his participation in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which I think should happen since he can do a big dive and film it, and it would get WWE big views. I don't think he should win the briefcase, but he definitely should be in the match because he's deserving. I imagine Bronson Reed will beat Nakamura. I kind of hope that happens. Trish Stratus is facing Raquel Rodriguez in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. I imagine Trish will win it. I would prefer Raquel be in the match, but Trish is probably going to win it because, you know, he won a big style there. And then what else is on Raw? There's like a tag match on Raw, but I don't really remember. And I'm not looking it up. I don't care. I want to get this done. But yeah, let's go move on to NXT. It was from June 13th, 2023. We had Booker T and Vic Joseph on commentary for this show. Obviously, you know how I feel about them on commentary. I've talked about that enough. It kicked off with a kick-ass 6-man tag with Schism that they faced Mustafa Ali, Tyler Bate, and Wes Lee. Joe Gacy looked really good in this match, which is awesome. He's looked really good recently, and everybody had their working boots on for this match. It looked like Schism was going to get the win, but they hit like a triple power bomb on Mustafa Ali, on Wes Lee. But a referee came out and pointed out the fact that he wasn't legal, so they continued the match, and Tyler Bate hit the Tyler Driver 97, I believe, on Joe Gacy for the win. I could ask why don't they just do this for every match, but it's a wrestling thing that happens. So there you go. Later in the night, Mustafa Ali suggested that Tyler Bate and Wes Lee face off for the North American title, and he's the special guest referee, so there's no referee shenanigans in the match. And they would announce NXT Gold Rush. WIW, by the way, better get some royalties for that because they've been doing Gold Rush, and what a coincidence WWE does a Gold Rush show. I mean, yeah, to be fair, that show had been out for a while, but WIW better be getting some royalties. I mean, to be fair, WWE, it's not like they did Gold Rush first. WWE did do Gold Rush. I think they did like a Gold Rush tournament in Raw in 05. So I guess maybe WIW should be giving WWE some I don't even know anymore. Loyalties, I don't even know. Royalties, whatever. It's late. But if I had the time, I would try to squeeze in a retro for WIW Gold Rush, but there's just no time for that. We got too much stuff going on. And it would be kind of like one of those low retros type of thing. So, but they announced Gold Rush. They're doing a 2-week event for Gold Rush for NXT. This match is going to be on, I think, week 1. So there you go. They continued the some women's storylines on this show. First was the women's title picture. Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey showed Thea Hale what she was doing wrong pretty much in the Battle Royal. They thought they could have upped her game and all that type of stuff. And she had a match with Cora Jade. And before Cora Jade had the match, she had a backstage segment with Dana Brooke where she slapped her in the face. NXT is getting an immediate letter grade down. I think NXT, I don't even remember what I would give it. I think I would have given it a B, but now it's getting a B- because they didn't stick to the brand split. And not only that, Dana Brooke's a raw competitor, but she's over there cutting promos talking about how I don't care. I want to be a hard worker. I want to go to Raw, SmackDown, main events, level up. I'll go to all these places. fuck off with that shit. You're on Raw. You stay there. Don't you fucking dare go to SmackDown. If you were just gonna do this with Dana Brooke, why wasn't she a free agent? I'm only mad enough as it is. I have to do this show, and I have to get up at 6 a.m. to go to work, and it's 1 fucking a.m. So fuck this bullshit. This is not fucking cool. By the way, we had the match with Cora Jade and Thea Hale. It was a very nice match. Cora Jade was going to cheat and use a kendo stick or whatever, but Dana Brooke, the ref took it from her. Dana Brooke threw her shoulder first into the steps, and it caused Thea Hale to put her in the Kimura lock, and Cora Jade quickly tapped out for the win. They're going to have a match. I believe it's on week 1 of NXT Gold Rush. Dana Brooke and Cora Jade, and I could care less about that match because Cora Jade as a heel has been fucking terrible. She honestly has to be like the worst heel I've ever seen in the business. And that's saying a lot. They did show a video package with Dana Brooke that was nice. I want to make sure I talked about that, just kind of showing basically everything that Dana Brooke's ever done in her wrestling career. So that was nice. Then they did a Shawn Michaels announcement where he announced Gold Rush, and earlier in the show, Braun Breaker came out to do a promo, and he wanted Seth Rollins to come out and accept his challenge. He was talking about he was the real guy that brought intensity to NXT, and Ilya Dragunov tried to come out and fight him, and he was held back by officials, and eventually Seth came on the screen. He wasn't actually there, but he came on the screen and basically accepted his challenge. So next week, Seth Rollins is going to come defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Braun Breaker. That's going to be the main event of week 1 of Gold Rush. And week 2 of Gold Rush is going to be Carmelo Hayes defending the NXT Championship against the winner of the Ilya Dragunov Baron Corbin main event on this show. The Baron Corbin Ilya Dragunov match I'll just talk about now. That main event, it was awesome. Baron Corbin had his working boots on for this match, and he took some stiff shot from Dragunov. So much praise to Baron Corbin. I think we've shat on Corbin a lot recently just because of how the main rosters used him. But a lot of people forget Baron Corbin's quite good. Go watch his early NXT one. Like, yeah, he was just new to the business, but I liked Baron Corbin in his early NXT days. In early SmackDown days, 2016, he was pretty good. So he beat Dragunov via Braun Breaker interference, and Breaker and Dragunov brawled to the back. And afterwards, Carmelo Hayes came out and attacked Corbin. I imagine they're going to do something next week where Corbin attacks Hayes so that way he can get his heat back. But if he doesn't, I don't really care because it's Baron Corbin at the end of the day. He's a loser. But I'm excited for Gold Rush. They have a lot of stuff announced for it. NXT has really been kind of has really improved recently. So we had the Heritage Cup. It was the Heritage Cup rules for the Heritage Cup. Noam Dar was supposed to defend the cup against Nathan Frazier, but instead he was injured, so Orr Mensah took his place. I think he was legit injured. It wasn't like one of those things where like, oh, he faked an injury type of thing. I think he was legit injured because with what happens in the match, you would think he's injured. Because if he's not hurt, then why did this happen? But everyone knows how I feel about the Heritage Cup. I don't love the Heritage Cup rules, but it's whatever. Nathan Frazier got the first fall when he pinned Orr Mensah right away, pretty much right in the first round with a roll-up, and then Orr Mensah won the second round with a rolling Itsuguri in the corner. I think they did like 2 more rounds, and then eventually Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, who were inside, tried to interfere on Mensah's behalf, but Valentina Flores and Yua Leon, I think is her name. It's a tag partner that's been a tag partner for a while. One interference back and brawl with them, and it leads to Nathan Frazier hitting a super kick followed by the Phoenix Splash for the win, and he becomes a new Heritage Cup champion. It just doesn't make sense. Like, why would Jakara Jackson and Last Legend interfere? Like, it's tied, and the whole rule is that if it's tied, the champion retains. So Noam Dar was going to retain the belt if they probably didn't interfere. So that just didn't make any sense to me. But whatever. It's the Heritage Cup. I really don't like that rule. But we did make that rule for our show. But it just is weird. Lyra Valkyria did a video package. Just kind of talking about everything that's happened since Battleground. And then some other women's storylines that happened. Electra Lopez and Lola Vice formed a tag team here. They've been kind of working together on Level Up anyways, but whatever. And then what's her name? Fallon Henley gave Gigi Dolan advice on what to do to take down Kiana James. I could care less about that feud. I think that was everything. And then Roxanne Perez took on Tatum Paxley. Blair Davenport had a really good video package talking about like all the people she's taking out, and then show like all the places she's taking out, which was cool. And Roxanne Perez won the match. She was supposed to win with Pop Rocks, but it was botched, and it looked like Tatum Paxley got injured. I don't think she got like injured, but it looked like it didn't feel great. And then afterwards, she cuts a promo basically challenging Blair Davenport. So I am interested to see that feud. So that would be nice. And then they showed a video package announcing a new tag team. This was like right before the main event, where Lucian Price and Bronco Lima are gonna show up. I like these guys on Level Up. I don't like the gimmick they're gonna have, where they're basically like these street thugs and everything like that. I don't know why they can't just come in and be badasses, but it's Shawn Michaels booking NXT, so there you go. Going back to the women, Tiffany Stratton came up and basically told Thea Hale that the Cinderella story is not going to get finished and all that type of stuff. So there you go. I really did pay attention to the segment because it's Tiffany Stratton. I don't pay attention to anything Tiffany Stratton does. So Von Wagner, and this was earlier in the show. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but again, I just want to get this done. And if this isn't the greatest video ever, just deal with it. Von Wagner and Mr. Stoner backstage, and Von Wagner, we find out, has been going to therapy, but he won't tell the therapist about the picture. Before this, Dijak walked by and tells Mr. Stone he should try his luck with him instead, so that's probably going to lead to a match between Wagner and Dijak, which I'd like. And Mr. Stone, Von Wagner pretty much tells Mr. Stone that he's the only one he trusts, so they're probably going to do something there, so there you go. And yeah, that was that. I like that segment. Axiom and Scripps beat Dabba-Kato 2-on-1. It was okay. Axiom beat him with the Golden Rewind. And the commentators were talking about how big of an upset this was, even though it's 2-1. That doesn't make sense. It's the ECW Backlash 2007 title match all over again. What are you talking about? Stax did a promo wondering who ratted out Tony D. So there you go. This is the last thing. Well, two more things. First, Damon Kemp is backstage, and he basically tries to show the referee that his foot was under the ropes. So Eddie Thorpe comes up and basically challenges him to a third match, where this time Damon Kemp picks the rules. So there you go. I don't really care about this. I imagine that's going to happen on week 2 of Gold Rush. I think the reason I don't care about this is just because Damon Kemp never wins any matches. They job him out left and right. So how is this going to be any different? But then Malik Blade faced Inoue, Edus Inoue, and yeah, they had a decent match. I don't get why Shawn Michaels has having all their tag team partners wrestle each other, but Shawn Michaels hates tag teams, so whatever. I think Inoue won. He reversed a crossbody. I forget which one won, but I think it was Inoue. It might have been Blade actually. Then Hanky Tanky and Briggs and Jensen are inside, and they all celebrate together. And Booker T announces that next week, on week 1 of Gold Rush, they're going to do a triple threat tag match with all these teams, and whoever wins that will face Gallus on week 2 of Gold Rush. So it leads to a brawl that really wasn't earned. And that was pretty much that. Quick picks for week 1 of Gold Rush, I guess. Seth Rollins is going to retain his world title against Braun Breaker. I imagine Briggs and Jensen will win the triple threat tag match. I think they should. I think there's unfinished business there with Gallus, since they haven't really beaten them and stuff. Core J needs to beat Dana Brooke, but I think Dana Brooke's going to win because they both need it. So I'll just give that win to Dana Brooke. And I think that's everything announced for Gold Rush. So there you go. Level Up, I'll just move on to that real quick and just talk about that. Electro Lopez and Lola Vice beat Danny Palmer and Kalana Jordan. I get why they did this, because they obviously wanted, because they're building up the team of Electro Lopez and Lola Vice. I just would have left Danny Palmer out of this. She's someone that they could really push. She just should have been left out of that. Boa defeated Bryson Montana. I like Bryson Montana. I don't care for Boa that much. He's not that interesting to me. He's been in developmental for a while, and at this point, I don't think he's getting called up, so I don't care about him. But Boa won for no reason. So there you go. Stacks faced Javier Bernal, and Javier Bernal did this promo earlier in the show where he talked about his run in NXT and stuff, and Stacks beat him. I'm not into Stacks. There's a reason that he's in the tag division because he's not that good by himself. So there you go. If I had to give NXT a grade, I would give NXT a B minus. It would be a B if they stuck to the brand split. The biggest thing I forgot to talk about actually on NXT was Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo showed up. And again, they're not free agents, so I don't know why they're on NXT. I guess NXT, it doesn't matter, but like, I don't know. It feels like it's weird because they say, oh, well, on Raw, but it doesn't really matter. I don't know how that works. But I am happy they're going to NXT. That they just should have made them free agents. But yeah, there's that. I don't know why, but I'm looking at Discord right now. It's telling me I need to update my username. So I don't know if someone took my username and I have to update it, but I'm not going to do that right now because it's going.
Yeah, don't do that right now, please.
I have a feeling like it's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, just wait until after. You could wait until after.
By the way, James, I'm sorry this is not the best video, but I just want to get this
done. Don't worry about it. As long as we get it done, I don't care.
But yeah, anyway, Level Up is C minus. It was a fairly average show. I would have given it like a C had Boa not been on the show. He should not have been there. He should have gone somewhere else. I don't know where, but he's just not there. SmackDown's the last show I'm talking about. They continued the Bloodline storyline. Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman arrived. Caleb Braxton tried to get a word with them, and Roman Reigns with the Savage line. This is why Roman Reigns, I think, like legit, like loves trends and stuff like that, and he just doesn't talk about it because he just told Paul Heyman that his girlfriend wants to talk to him. It was really funny. Roman Reigns is legitimately like awesome. I really don't think. I think he gets the credit, but I really don't think his comedic really gets credit because of the tribal chieftain. But like. Nico showed me this. Michael Nikos, if you guys forget who he is, where like he has obviously the picture of the 1,000-day reign. He knew that people are gonna make memes out of that. Like Roman Reigns just knows how to make money and he knows how to get himself talked about. And I don't think people will give him credit for that. He's awesome. I mean, should he be the champ right now? I don't know, but he's still awesome. And basically, they don't give Caleb Braxton any answers about the status of Jey Uso in the Bloodline. So later in the night, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns are backstage, and basically Roman Reigns demands Paul Heyman go talk to him. I like the fact that Roman Reigns is unraveling here because he really wants Jey in the Bloodline, obviously, because his empire is crumbling, and that means his title reign's crumbling because who's the one that's been helping Roman to keep the belt all this time? So Paul Heyman talks to Jey Uso, and he basically tries to blame Jimmy for the reason that Jey didn't win the U.S. title and everything didn't go the way it was. But Jey basically tells him that if he's in the bloodline, then he's out of the bloodline. So there you go. So Roman, Solo, and Paul Heyman are backstage again. And when things didn't go the way Roman wanted them to with Heyman, he gives Heyman this look, and Heyman takes off. And Solo will ask Roman if he should finish. He's like, nope, we're going to handle this in the ring. Then we had that segment. Jey walked backstage, and it showed him looking at Sami Zayn. There was no promos, but that look, I liked that. There's a reason, by the way. You're probably thinking to yourself, why is Sami's in this thumbnail? All thumbnails are done by Michael X, by the way. He did the AEW Spark one, but I forgot to give him credit for it. I apologize for that, Mike. I hope he's not mad at me for that one, but these things happen. So I gave you credit here. So please watch this video before that one, so that way you understand. I'm giving you the credit now though, because he does all thumbnails from now on forever. He's never gonna stop doing thumbnails. He's gonna do them for the rest of his life, until I tell him to stop, which will never happen. Was I talking? the reason Sammy's here is basically Sammy started all of this. He started the crumbling of the bloodline, so that's why Sammy's in this thumbnail. So don't get mad at us that Sammy's in the thumbnail when he had nothing to do with the segment. In a way, Sammy caused all this to happen, so get off our backs. By the way, I forgot to mention Wade Barrett and Michael Cole were doing commentary for SmackDown, and Byron Saxton and Blake Howard did commentary for Level Up, as always. But the segment happens. I like that Roman just gets cut off right away now, like right after he has the wherever they are acknowledge him. I just love that. And Roman wants to know where Jay loyalties lie, and Jay asks the same to Roman. What is it, Paul Heyman or is it me? And basically, he says that he needs a special counsel, and he talks about how he's been grooming Jay for this spot. And he says that when he wants a special counsel, he'll give him a special counsel. And Jimmy comes out. He's trying to talk Jay out of this, saying that Roman's been using you and abusing you. He'll continue to do the same. Roman tries to talk him out of it, saying that he's been grooming him. Talks about all the things that Jay was able to accomplish while Jimmy was injured. And he talks about, he has Heyman say that the only person that was against Jay being groomed for the next tribal chief was Jimmy, and Jay asked Jimmy if he thought it was true, and Jimmy said it's true, and Jay just cuts his passionate promo. I really can't do it justice because I'm not in the best mood to do it right now, but he does this passionate promo talking about how like Jimmy always had to be the person, since he's the older brother, on top, and basically talk about how he outsigned Jimmy while he was away and everything like that. Like, it was awesome. And he basically tells Jimmy that he's out of the bloodline. And I like that pause that Jay has. And you think that, Jay's going to turn on Jimmy. And Jay tells Jimmy, and I'm out too. And he super kicks Roman Reigns, super kicks Solo Sikoa, and then the Usos do a double super kick to Roman Reigns. And this was awesome. It was a great way to end SmackDown. And if everyone James and Casey were probably wondering, why were you all hyped to do Money in the Bank? Owen seemed a little extra excited there because I just watched this segment, and when I watch wrestling segments like this, I get extra hyped doing that stuff. So yeah, James and Casey would be like, Owen seemed a little extra excited doing the Money in the Bank retro. When you see segments like this, I'm entitled to be extra excited. So, but I like they showed it on the exclusive afterwards that Roman got "You Deserve It" chant, which was awesome because it was like when the heel got a "You Deserve It" chant, and it felt earned. And now we're gonna get the tag match. It's gonna be Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos. A lot of people are gonna complain about the fact that Roman is going a while without defending his title. I'm pretty sure he defended it at the house show, and that counts. They showed it on Instagram. If not, he is defending on the house show soon. So get off, and that will be 40 days by the time that house show happens. So leave it alone. And there's bigger things to fly right now, by the way, than taking the title. That this is about a family. This is about a civil war. And I'm telling you, what match is more marketable? Roman Reigns defending the title against one of the Usos, which we've seen that before, or this civil war right here. And I like this civil war. I'm scared to watch this match because I think Roman's going to destroy the Usos. And I'm just so scared. But it's whatever. It's funny. I can watch horror movies with no problem. But when it comes to this stuff, I'm just scared. I almost don't even want to watch Money in the Bank. I'm too scared to. I might have to leave during the main event and hide. It's going to be scary. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm just getting scared. I'm so scared I can't even continue with the rest of the SmackDown review. That's how scary this is. But yeah, I love the Bloodline stuff. It's A rank, it's S rank material every week. I can't think of a time the Bloodline stuff has been on where I haven't enjoyed it. It's really all these stuff that gets the Oscar things. Why is the Bloodline stuff not in there? I don't know. I guess it's because it's wrestling, but it's come on, get out of that. You need to grow up. You need to grow up. I mean, I need to grow up. I'm in pajamas, and I was in my SpongeBob pajamas earlier, so it's yeah. I'm the one telling people to grow up here. Let's continue with the rest of SmackDown. We had the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders Gauntlet match. I like how they structured the gauntlet where all the teams were already out there and everything like that. And anytime a new team would come in, they would just play their theme and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. It was something different. It started with the Street Profits versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. And Sheamus and Ridge Holland won. Sheamus hit a bro kick on Montez Ford. I thought the Street Profits were eliminated a little bit too quickly, but that's just my opinion. Then it was the Good Brothers next, and Sheamus beat Gallows with the bro kick. Then it was the LWO represented by Raul Mendoza. Got to be careful, can't call him by the WWE name because I'll be stuck to that forever. Unless Chris doesn't watch this and James doesn't tell Chris I did that, but I can't bank on both those things not happening or not happening, I guess. But eventually, Ridge Holland's beat him with like a sit-out Michinoku driver. That was cool. And then Hit Row came in and they immediately got beat with a bro kick. And I don't like Hit Row unless you bring back Swerve Strickland, but that's not happening. But that was awesome. Like, Hit Row suck. Get out of there. They suck. Without Swerve, they just really suck. So then it was Pretty Deadly. And they had a fairly competitive match eventually. I think it's Kilt Wilson hit a leg drop from the second turnbuckle onto Sheamus and got the win. And Pretty Deadly won. I like the way they structured this match with Pretty Deadly were like the last team in. And they had the Brawl and Brutes go through the whole gauntlet and had Pretty Deadly get the last win. They cut a promo afterwards and Sammy and KO came out and they beat him up afterwards. So I'm excited to see Pretty Deadly versus Sammy and KO for the tag titles. It's going to take place on the SmackDown in England on the Go Home episode before Money in the Bank. I would have put it on Money in the Bank, but that's just me because it seems weird that Sammy and KO are going to be completely left off the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but I hope they announce a title match for them because that just seems odd to. It doesn't seem like a wise choice to leave them on off the pay-per-view, but that's just me. You know, as James knows and stuff, and as everybody else knows, I'm a big Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn mark at the moment. I'm, probably more than anybody else at the moment. I get into these weird phases where I just really get into wrestlers. As James knows, I was really into Tyson Kidd at one point, and like 2012 up to like 2015, when really nobody else was. I was like the only Tyson Kidd mark, so it's like, whatever. I think me and James were like the only Tyson Kidd marks too. I think James was a pretty big Tyson Kidd mark, but I just like Tyson Kidd. I even liked Tyson Kidd, by the way, back in like 2010 when he was first showing up. Like when no one really knew Tyson Kidd, I was like, whoa, I don't know. It was just something about Tyson Kidd that just drew me in. Like a lot of people are going to talk about, he didn't have a character and all that type of stuff. Just something about Tyson Kidd drew me in, man. I always enjoyed Tyson Kidd. So, when James comes back on here, I'll ask him about it. But again, I like the.
I'm here. We know. I know you like Tyson Kidd.
I don't know. I just always liked Tyson Kidd. So
you mention this every podcast. I know.
But I keep mentioning it until he shows back up again. So
okay.
Which he won't.
I understand.
What else was on SmackDown? I should mention this too. I think a lot of people think that Pretty Deadly will get a bigger reaction than Sammy KO since it is in the UK. I feel like it's going to be about equal. They'll be over, and also Sammy and KO will be over. I wonder if they're going to tape SmackDown that week. I kind of hope, selfishly, because then I could do Aftershock that night instead, that they air SmackDown like earlier in the day, like live, and I can just do WWE Aftershock like later that night. But knowing my luck, that ain't gonna fucking happen because I don't have the best luck when it comes to that stuff. Io Sky with Bayley faced Zelina Vega. Bayley tried to interfere, but it failed and allowed Zelina to win. In kayfabe, I guess Zelina's 619 is more devastating than Rey Mysterio's because she actually won a match with a 619. What the heck's Rey been doing all this time? Like, come on, Rey, what are you doing? I don't get what happened. But yeah, that happened. But the tease and dissension and damage control, which is fine. Later in the night, not even long after this, they were arguing, and Shotzi came up and challenged Bayley to basically put a spot in the Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match on the line. And Io accepted on Bayley's behalf. I'll make the prediction now. What's probably going to happen is Bayley's going to lose and Shotzi will be in the match. do not let that happen. Because I saw Sachi in the Money in the Bank last year, and she's very botchy, and I do not want her in the Money in the Bank this year because you could say, well, maybe she learned from it and stuff. No, she didn't, because anyone that criticized her for it, she blocked on Twitter and didn't take the criticism. So there's no way she learned. I mean, who am I to say when people learn things? But, you know, it's if you're doing that shit, you didn't learn anything about that. So Adam Pearce is backstage. He's on the phone with somebody. I don't know who he was on the phone with. Maybe Triple H, maybe Vince. I don't know. Maybe Nick Khan. But definitely not Tony Khan. There's no way he's talking to him because Tony Khan got bigger things to do at the moment. But you know, maybe he was on the phone with Colt Cabana since they had a feud in NW. Well, I guess it wasn't in the NWA, but it was like in the Indies. It was just for the NWA title. But who knows who he was talking to. But yeah, Bianca Belair comes in, and Adam Pearce, you know, obviously he said he's trying to work around what's been going on, and Bianca's just had enough patience and says that she's going to go to the ring and do things her way, whether they're right or wrong. So we had the Grayson Waller effect with Charlotte Flair. Grayson Waller was asking Charlotte about the title match and everything like that, really putting Charlotte over. He was kind of nervous. I do like that they're not having Grayson Waller wrestle at the moment because I don't really think he needs to wrestle. I think he can get over doing these Grayson Waller effects. I did pitch this. I think what should happen is he should ask like the one question. It should be like the Bobby Lashley or something, and it leads to him having to have a match or something. But I don't think there's just no need for him to wrestle right now. I think he can get over with his personality at the moment. But eventually Bianca Belair comes out, and she thinks this is bullshit that Charlotte Flair could just instantly come in and get a title match while she has to put in the work and everything like that. And they kind of go back and forth to each other. And Bianca says that she's not going to let this slide and is going to do something about it. So interesting to see what happens there. I imagine Bianca Belair is going to interfere in the match, and we'll get like a triple threat match at Money in the Bank, which I wouldn't really like that because I would prefer it to be a clean win. Like maybe Bianca helps Asuka win or something, but I think Bianca Belair is turning heel, which I think is a necessary step. I think Bianca's kind of done everything she could as a babyface. She was kind of getting stale as a babyface. Not necessarily like a bad stale, just needs a change type of thing. So, and you know, Bianca kind of makes sense to turn heel. Like while Charlotte Flair just instantly came in and had a title match, she didn't mention she had a rematch for the championship, and Bianca's just kind of being a bitch about it. So, you know, there you go. Then we had a mixed tag. It was I almost said AJ Lee and Mia Yim, but AJ Styles and Mia Yim versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Way too short. This match was like maybe 4 minutes. Karrion Kross won with not even he won with like a power slam. It wasn't even his finish. Like, what are you doing? Karrion Kross is so uninteresting right now. The fact that AJ Styles just lost to him is kind of a joke. They really should be saving him and like building him up to face Roman Reigns in the future. Maybe they're not doing that because obviously him and Styles and Heyman don't get along. Sit down and talk to each other. It's not that hard. Heyman and Styles will totally put the differences aside. Like it's done now, AJ. The Good Brothers are back now, and it wasn't even Heyman's fault. It was Vince's stupid fault for releasing them for no reason. So I just don't get it. Like these wrestlers need to grow up sometimes and just put egos aside and all that type of stuff. I mean, James has talked about this. It's sad in his CAW league that like people are willing to do that there, but not, and they don't even make any money. So there you go. Then Cameron Grimes gets interviewed and he gets beaten up by Baron Corbin. So I imagine what's going to happen is on NXT. I saw this on Open Mic Night a little bit. Everyone was kind of concerned about the fact that the main roster guys are going to lose to the NXT guys and stuff, and that's a developmental brand and stuff. I think the way they can get around that is if Cameron Grimes costs Baron Corbin the NXT title match when he faces Carmelo Hayes, so that's way he doesn't look too bad. I mean, at the end of the day, wins and losses are going to happen. So it's like, you know, I really don't look at it that way. I get what people say when it comes to that, but the way I kind of look at it is anybody can win or lose when they get in the ring. And Carmelo Hayes is just really hot, and obviously has upped his game since then, and Baron Corbin hasn't. So I wouldn't complain if he won clean, but the way they can get around is if Cameron Grimes costs them the match. I think is how they can do that. So that way everybody's happy, except Baron Corbin. But he's not. He's never happy. So except when he was happy, Corbin. Then the last thing that I'm going to be talking about, but it wasn't the main event, is Rey Mysterio came out to do a promo. He introduced Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar cut this great babyface promo talking about winning the Money in the Bank ladder match for his people and everything like that. LA Knight came out and he had pushed Rey Mysterio, which caused a fight, and it led to a match. They had a good match. I feel like LA Knight needed to cut a promo instead on this show instead of doing a match because LA Knight's great on the mic. He should cut a promo every week. I don't know why they don't have him do that, but LA Knight rolled up Santos Escobar and he tried to use the tights for the win, but Santos Escobar reversed it and he used the ropes for leverage for the win. And afterwards, LA Knight beat him up and Ray ran out and LA Knight chased him. Ray chased off LA Knight and that was it. I liked this, though. I was okay with LA Knight losing here just because he got his heat back anyways. And it's all going to be okay if he wins Money in the Bank. Because you have to build up Santos Escobar, too. So later on the SmackDown Lowdown, they did like a three-way brawl with Pete Dunne. I almost made that mistake. LA Knight and Santos Escobar. So I don't know if they're going to do a triple threat match between those three. But quick SmackDown predictions. We have some stuff announced. I imagine I'm going to pick Bayley to keep a spot in the briefcase Money in the Bank ladder match, but that's probably not going to happen. And then I'm going to pick what else is announced for SmackDown? I don't even remember. So I'm just going to end. Oh, the unification match is announced. I imagine Ronda and Shayna are going to beat Kaylee Ray and Nyla Dawn. But yeah, I really don't care about any of those. I guess Kaylee Ray and Nyla Dawn I care about, but I really don't care about Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler at the moment. And there's another match announced, but I don't remember what it is, and I'm tired. So that was SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was awesome. I'm giving SmackDown an A-, mainly for the Bloodline storyline, but I like the tag team gauntlet match, and I liked about everything else on the show. The only thing I really didn't like on the show was the mixed tag with AJ Styles and Mia Yim versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So there you go. That's everything that happened in the weeks of WWE. Like I said, I didn't look up any news sites because I just can't be asked to do that. I will make you guys a promise. I will every news site that gets reported, I will try to talk about next week. It's just this is just not the week for that. And I just enjoy wrestling more when I don't read the news sites. But I will give you guys my word. And I don't know how much that's going to mean, but I will look up news sites next week. So there you go. That's basically it. That's the end of the show. Goodbye.
Okay, cool. As far as promos go, watch AEW Aftershock for the shit upcoming. I'm not doing it here because it's way too late to do it. All right, bye.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned. And check out more content from For the Win Productions.